Good morning and God bless. What's up? I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is First Things First, my first thing every day, giving thanks, giving praises, asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. Happy Wednesday. It's a wealth building Wednesday. We're supposed to be building it every day, but we put the emphasis on this one. You know how we do our one. It is local, the left coast, your neighborhood, your community, and boy, do we have some talk about how to get involved in your community for you this morning. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour of the show, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest on a topic or topics of interest. Today, we are going to be talking reproductive justice. And we've got one of the premier experts on that particular topic, which is sadly a very hot topic these days. We'll be talking with Loretta J. Ross, and we have someone in our Wealth Building Wednesday spotlight. So it's a lot going on around here. You know you're invited in every hour of every day when I'm on the mic. 800-920-1580. That is the number, 800-920-1580. And let's talk about it. You know how it is. It's about engagement, reciprocity, and all that good stuff, which is why hopefully you follow us on social media at KBLA 1580, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and yes, YouTube, where we are streaming right now. Joining me in studio, we have someone who's spent over 4 decades as an advocate for the people, whether talent or executive she's worked with and represented in the entertainment industry, people that have crossed her path in ministry, or representing the constituents and stakeholders of the city of Los Angeles. Dina Andrews is a neighborhood empowerment advocate. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
You guys, you ladies, are looking wide awake and ready for YouTube. I love it. We're also being joined by a woman who was recently appointed by Mayor Karen Bass as Interim General Manager for the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, also known as EmpowerLA, which supports Los Angeles' 99 neighborhood councils in meeting their mission to increase civic participation and make government more responsive to local needs. And it is my honor to welcome Vanessa Serrano. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, you guys have a lot on your plate. 99 neighborhood councils, and those stretch from where to where?
From the Valley, the Harbor, the West LA, South LA, everywhere, all over the city of Los Angeles.
And, you know, you have, Dina, you have obviously a varied portfolio of work you do, but you have been involved with this neighborhood council situation for quite some time. What drives that? You know, I feel like there are a lot of people that aren't even aware of the neighborhood councils or have never been involved at all. Correct. And yet you seem to have a commitment to it with your busy schedule. Tell me about why and how.
So I actually ended up getting involved in local city government with Marquise Harris Dawson, Councilmember CD8. And prior to that, I knew nothing about city government, neighborhood councils, or otherwise. But once I got involved working for him, and as a senior deputy, I was responsible for the Park Mesa Heights and Empowerment Congress West neighborhood councils. And that later led to me joining the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment about 1.5 years ago. And so I've always found myself fighting for people whose voices are generally not heard or feel marginalized. And so it just became like a natural fit for me, to be out advocating for the people and helping them to find out what things are available to them through local government and what things that they can do to help their own communities, or I should say our own communities.
Yeah, the whole neighborhood empowerment model is not in every city. It's something that I think, if I'm not mistaken, LA has really taken the lead on. explain the structure of it, kind of break down how it works.
Well, we have, it's one of the departments in the city. It's a small team, but it's a mighty team. We have about 4 directors, 15 neighborhood empowerment advocates who are our staff that go out in the field, and each of them supporting between 7 to 8, sometimes 7 to 9 neighborhood councils each. And each of those neighborhood councils can vary in size, right? They can have 8 board members. I think the largest neighborhood council we have has 25 neighborhood council board members serving on it. On top of that, we have a very strong, we've been very fortunate to be able to build up our administrative division in the department that does a lot of the behind the scenes work. You will never really you'll see them now in the community doing a lot of outreach. They're getting out there, really wanting to meet the community. And it's a group that's really just passionate about what they're doing and really just all hands on deck when needed. Right now during election season, we're seeing that a lot more. And the community's getting to know them now that we're kind of getting back to in-person meetings.
Right, and you say election season, which for most people are like, what are we talking about? We just finished election season. But you mean neighborhood empowerment elections.
Yeah, neighborhood council elections, yes.
And so what does that look like?
Well, every 2 years, we go through this election cycle with neighborhood councils, and every board is very different. There's 99 of them. The seat composition varies from neighborhood council to neighborhood council. Each neighborhood council gets to decide what that looks like based on their bylaws, and that's something that we can we typically spend some time with the community explaining what that is and how they can plug into the neighborhood council system to their own neighborhood council. So right now it's on a rolling cycle. There's 12 regions throughout the city of Los Angeles. Right now, we just got through the elections in Region 9, and we're about to, Election Day opens up this Saturday for Region 10, and we have a list of all those neighborhood councils and the locations in case there's anyone listening that wants to vote and find out what their location is.
Yeah, well, let's get to that. Let's do it now before we forget.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So Region 10, let's see. Election Day is this Saturday, April 22nd, and this is for anyone that lives in the Empowerment Congress Central Neighborhood Council area, Empowerment Congress North, Empowerment Congress West, the Mid-City area, Park Mesa Heights, United Neighborhoods, and West Adams. So if anyone wants to find out how they can participate, they can go on our website. It's 99
NCs.
Yeah, 99ncs.com.
The number 99.
Yes. 99N for neighborhood and C for councils, S, no apostrophe, .com. And there is a page on there that is being monitored regularly by our staff. Not only do you, you have different options on there, like I want to vote, or I want to learn how I can run. I want to learn how I can serve on a vacancy, on a committee, how I can volunteer, or how can I just attend a meeting. If I'm not ready to get involved that way just yet, but I want to attend and I want to listen into what my neighborhood is saying.
So why are there 99? I mean, is that just something random that the city came up with? Or is it that people created their own councils and it ended up being 99?
Right now we're at 99. Yeah, people started creating their own. I think the last one came in my last 6 years with the department, which was the Herman Neighborhood Council. And that was a subdivision between, I think it was the Arroyo Seco.
Yeah, they split.
So people kind of make their own neighborhood councils.
Yes. And
I want to talk when we come forward, when we continue, about how those happen, what actually they do. And you sort of talked a little bit about how people can get involved, get on the website and all that. But what does getting involved mean? We'll look at that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580 would like to thank all of the businesses that tune into KBLA at work. We celebrate you, your calls to the station, and your overall support. To show our appreciation, we would like to treat your office to a lunch for 10, brought to you by the Original Taco Pete's. Open the KBLA Talk 1580 app or log on to KBLA1580.com to submit your office to be selected for our Office of the Week. We know you're just like our staff, putting in many hard, smart working hours per week. We just want to say thank you, and we appreciate you. You and your staff deserve lunch on us. Enter your office to win lunch for 10 and be highlighted on KBLA Talk 1580 as our Office of the Week. Open the KBLA app or log on to KBLA 1580 to enter your office today to become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week, sponsored by the Original Taco Pete's, a black-owned restaurant. Become the KBLA Talk 1580 Office of the Week. This has been a KBLA Talk 1580 community call to action.
I know it's gonna happen. Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
Periods don't care what you're doing, but your pads should. Get Always Triple Protection System in Always Day and Night Pads. Always Day Pads protect when active by wicking away gushes 2 times faster than leading store brands and giving us up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort. When we size up our pad at night, we get the same triple protection, plus up to 75% more coverage in the back for when we're laying down. No matter what, Always has you covered, day and night.
This world has its limits, but in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya, you've got a world of possibilities. You can leave it all behind in serene interiors, or you can go after it with available e-Force all-wheel drive. Go your way in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya. Nissan Ariya with e-Force not yet available for purchase. Expected availability early 2023, subject to change. E-Force all-wheel drive is an optional feature. E-Force cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
And as you know, now and throughout the show, we are taking your phone calls, 800-920-1580. Looks like LA teachers have reached a deal with the district. They got a 21% raise. That's going to take about 3 years to implement that, making the average teacher's salary about $106,000 a year here in LA, making it one of the higher end teachers' salaries. The only thing is it's really expensive to live here, so it's also one of the higher end cost of living. But that's a big deal. Of course, it will have to be ratified by the union, but it looks like they're going to be able to move forward. It also includes, provisions for smaller class sizes. Mayor Karen Bass releasing her first budget proposal on yesterday. She's saying she's going to add more police, no surprise there, and big spending on the houselessness program and public safety in the form of the gang intervention prevention program. She also highlighted in her budget, as she did in the state of the city, her intention to upgrade our terrible animal shelters, really problematic animal shelters. LA County officials saying now that they are going to have to deal with a $3 billion hole in their $43 billion budget to resolve claims of sexual abuse at various facilities there. This is an ongoing problem for both the city and the county. Payouts for abuse and also for excessive force continue to take a big bite out of the taxpayers' pockets. We do have a lot to talk about. You're always welcome to call, but right now we're talking about how to get more involved in your community, in your neighborhood. And we have two folks who are experts on that topic here on the structures of our city, the existing structures that allow for you to have direct input, to be a voice for your neighborhood. We have Dina Andrews. She's a neighborhood empowerment advocate. And we also have Vanessa Serrano. She is the Interim General Manager for the City of LA's Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. So we talked about, how this number, there's 99 right now. We talked about how that came to be. We just added another one. We could, in another 10 years, it could be 125. We don't know. So a lot of people in LA. You talked about the elections coming up Saturday for one of those regions. So I guess I'll ask this to you, Dina, since you've been there. What do I do? If I'm on, one of these councils, what am I actually doing?
So if you are on the council, you have been basically elected by the people who live and work in the community that your neighborhood council is in. And the responsibility is for board members to track what's going on at City Hall, bring it back to the people, as well as hear the voices of the people and the concerns that they have. Additionally, most boards have multiple committees. You have your Planning and Land Use Committee for those people that are interested in what's going on as far as development in the community. There may be outreach, which most of them have outreach to reach out to the people that are within their area. Oh my God.
When we say outreach, what are you reaching out about?
Okay,
I mean, just...
okay, this is good, Dominique, because basically we have about 10% of the people that are in each of these regions that are active. So if you, and it may not even be that many, so if you have 250,000 people in a district, in a council district, and you have 3 NCs within 3 or 4 NCs,
neighborhood councils,
within, right, neighborhood councils within that district, and say at the most you may have 10% of the people that know what the neighborhood council is active either on a board, on a committee,
right,
or volunteer, then you've got all of these other people that don't have a clue. So their outreach is to be able to reach out to the people that are within the community that don't know about the neighborhood.
Right, to try
council.
to get more people involved.
Right, exactly.
So you're doing outreach. You're when you say you're on committee, like say you're on a land use committee, I mean the council members have the say so about really what's going to happen with land use and development. So what is the role of the council? Just advising or
yeah, well,
stirring
actually,
the pot?
there's what's called community impact statements. So for anything that's at council that is being heard, that has a council file, it's the neighborhood council can write community impact statements and submit them to our office. We upload them to the portal, and they're added to the council files. So even though the council members and planning and land use may have, the say-so on what happens, they still have a responsibility to hear what the people want and desire. And so that's made public by them being uploaded to the CIS portal.
Why, Vanessa, would I even want to do this? Like, people are busy, people got to keep the lights on, get the kids to school, or whatever it is we're doing. Why would I want to invest my time in this?
I think, everybody comes in with trying to get something different out of the neighborhood council system, right, when they join. Whether it's to just learn more about the city and how it works and how, as a stakeholder, as a person in the community, I can form relationships. I can, represent my community, represent myself. Sometimes it starts off that way, right? And then you start building that community and representing that way. There's others, other reasons, too. I think just the main thing is people who are passionate or see the issues that are going on, and sometimes frustration leads them to the neighborhood council system, right? And trying to find out what are the ways that I can collaborate. How can I reach out to the departments that are in the city that address the issues that are affecting me and my neighbors every day, and bring those resources back into the community, whether it's beginning to bring them into the neighborhood, bring the departments into the neighborhoods to come in and present, do town halls, whatever it is on the issues that matter, so that we can continue to empower other neighbors, right? In the way that our neighborhoods receive information, because not all of them will be able to make it to City Hall to a meeting. So it's easier to just bring it into your community sometimes. It is a commitment. It does take about 15 to 20. It does ask for about 15 to 20 hours a month, I would say, from each person, right? Because it's not only the work that is done at a neighborhood council meeting, which can sometimes take 2 to 3 hours, sometimes a little longer, depending on what topics are being discussed, what presentations, what city departments are there. But in addition to that, you're doing a lot of the community outreach, which is kind of they're not on the clock, but it's kind of off the clock, right? Every day, and the interactions you're having while you're going to the market or whatever it is.
Right. So empowerment. I mean, so neighborhood council members are kind of like elected officials because they're elected, but they don't. They're not high profile. They don't get salaries, right?
They're volunteers.
They're volunteers, but then you also want volunteers. So you have volunteers and volunteers. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have volunteers who are electeds and you have volunteers that are supporting them. They do control a budget, but they don't get paid for their work.
Right. Mm-hmm. They all neighborhood councils at this point have a $32,000 a year budget, and basically they spend those dollars on operational costs because it does cost money for them to operate. They are able to give out MPG grants, neighborhood purpose grants, to nonprofit organizations within the community that they
from that 32,000.
Right, of that 32.
So they're probably micro grants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, what is the second one?
They can practice in community improvement projects. Anything. I mean, we've seen things from, improving the median on the street, signage, whatever, to make something clearer for the neighbors if there's a specific issue that they're trying to target. We do that. And then to pay for their administrative operational costs, because it does, it costs money, like Dina said, for office meeting. Now that they're going back to in-person meetings over the last 2-3 years, we've had all Zoom meetings for neighborhood councils. So that's going to come back and impact the budget also.
So, I mean, I guess it's like, if you look at government, like we have this, obviously we have the federal government, trying to refrain from my normal commentary because I know you guys are, you're sort of part of the government too. So not trying to have you co-sign my opinions here, but you have the federal government where almost nothing gets done. Then you have the state government. Then you have the county. Mm-hmm. Then you've got city. And then neighborhood councils, which is even a smaller than city.
Well, we're actually part of the city, though. So I think that's an advantage for people who are interested in being participating in the neighborhood council system, because they actually have a voice. And when you talk about annual budgets, the council members call on the neighborhood council leadership for their input as far as, the overall budget of the city is concerned too. So they, there's so many things. I mean, we were doing some canvassing last week, and fortunately people were happy to see us. And they're like, oh gosh, well, I'm so glad to see you, because I've been helping somebody else. I didn't know how to get involved locally. And if I would have known that the neighborhood councils could have influenced what was going on my street when the streets were narrowed, when more parking spaces was put in, it would have been nice to know, and to be involved in that conversation. So those are the kind of things that happen in these neighborhood council meetings, where you have street services coming in, letting people know what's happening, DWP, and people get a chance to chime in, and they also get a chance to engage with not only their city council members, but also the mayor on what's happening.
We're talking with Vanessa Serrano and Dina Andrews. We're talking about neighborhood empowerment, how you can get involved. What are the official ways to weigh in for your community? I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The Supreme Court is expected to announce its ruling today on the abortion drug mifepristone. Earlier this month, a ruling by a Texas federal judge halted the nationwide distribution of the drug. The Biden administration appealed the ruling last week. The Supreme Court put the ruling on hold as they decide whether to allow full access to mifepristone while the case is appealed. Buffalo Bills player, African-American Damar Hamlin, is cleared to return to football. Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest during a Monday Night Football game against the Cincinnati Bengals last season. Team General Manager Brandon Beane said all doctors who saw Hamlin last week were all in agreement to clear him for football activities. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. If you own a business and still haven't applied for the payroll tax refund, we want to pay a licensed tax attorney to see if you're eligible to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers lose by 14 in Phoenix last night. The first round series is tied at 1-1. Devin Booker had a game-high 38 points and 9 assists. The Clippers got an outstanding performance from Kawhi Leonard and Russell Westbrook. Leonard finished with 31 points. Westbrook had 28. The next two games are in LA. The Lakers are back in action tonight in Memphis for Game 2 of their first round series. The Lakers are 1-up on Memphis. Memphis guard Ja Morant is questionable with a bruised right hand. Lakers coach Darvin Ham said the team is preparing for Memphis as if Morant will be on the court. Golden State's Draymond Green was suspended for one game without pay for stepping on the chest of Kings forward Domantas Sabonis on Monday. The incident left Sabonis with a bruised sternum. Green will miss Game 3 Thursday night. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
There are millions of boys and girls who are young, gifted, and black.
I'm young, gifted, and black.
At
KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
Hey there, I'm Jared Hill, president of the National Association of Black Journalists of Los Angeles, and I just want to say thank you for the benevolent $10,000 donation and scholarships for the next generation of black journalists.
And I'm Haywood Galbraith, photojournalist and founder of the Minority Photojournalism Institute. Thanks, KBLA, for your generous $10,000 scholarship gift to help us train the next generation of black photojournalists.
Congratulations to all the students who will benefit from the scholarship dollars raised at our Black History Month luncheon, honoring black legends in LA media. When we come forward at KBLA Talk 1580, we're bringing everybody with us. Everybody with us. Everybody with us. Everybody with us. Everybody with us.
Personal Law Office is your go-to attorney for criminal cases. We will work with you at every step to ensure you are fully informed and your rights are protected. Call me at 424-261-2075 if you're facing any criminal offenses.
Coming to Los Angeles. It's the show that rocked the country, playing to over 1.5 million people. It's God's Trying to Tell You Something.
Coming to the Wilshire Ebell Theater.
For one day only.
Saturday, April 22nd at 2 and 7 p.m.
See what everyone is talking about and feel the power of God.
This was the bomb. I loved it.
It was really, really good.
Amazing singing.
And the performers were fantastic.
A little crying. There was a lot of laughter. My kids was like, Mom, what's wrong? Because I started to cry. And I said, these are just tears of joy.
It met and exceeded the expectations. It was very well presented, and everybody did great.
It was fantastic. I felt like I was on Broadway.
Tickets on sale now at Eventbrite.com and God's Trying to Tell You Something.com. It's the theatrical masterpiece you've got to see. It's God's Trying to Tell You Something.
Oh, yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. So blessed to be here.
Don't miss it.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the Evan-On, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I always appreciate you. Don't forget we're on YouTube, youtube.com, KBLA 1580. Not that I'm all, extra cute today, but hey, you can see me if you want to. And there's a lot going on, as I said, in the city of Los Angeles. The Los Angeles mayor just put forth her first budget. Among other things, she's seeking a 45% increase in funding for gang reduction and youth development, that program. All of these proposals by the mayor will be reviewed and have input from the city council. City council has to approve her budget, which is $13.1 billion, by deadline of May 31st. 2 former Whittier officers have been charged with assault. Police detectives apparently using unnecessary force when they shot an unarmed, mentally ill man who was running away from them. One of those shots severing his spinal cord. That announcement from District Attorney George Gascon from the Hall of Justice. Cynthia Lopez and Salvador Muriel no longer work for the department. The LAPD is increasing its patrols in Griffith Park on horseback, saying that they hope this will mean more safety for tourists who flock to that park. It's a popular tourist destination and apparently also a popular spot for people stealing purses and passports. A Carson teenager who's been missing since January 1st has been found alive, the LA County Sheriff's Department announced on Monday. Alinka Angeline Castaneda from Carson is back home safe with her family. No word on where she was or exactly in what condition she was found. And a 15-year-old boy was killed after a stabbing suspect slammed into a group of Westlake High School students in Thousand Oaks. Police say they think it might have been intentional. This guy was, police say, on a crime spree. He stabbed a person in a Walmart store in Simi Valley earlier in the day. Turning now to our conversation about how you can get involved, be part of the solution, and be part of the infrastructure that you might not even know exists in your community. Vanessa Serrano is the Interim General Manager of the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, and Dina Andrews is a Neighborhood Empowerment Advocate. Those elections are coming up Saturday. You might not even know what it is, but you can go to 99ncs.com to find out more, 99ncs.com. Saturday is the election, so I assume that means, Vanessa, that it's too late to run, right? And so you said the election is Saturday. The neighborhood councils are seated in July. Everyone has their own schedule. But I imagine, we saw the voter turnout for the last council district election. I imagine it might be a little bit of a struggle with the neighborhood councils.
Yeah, I think, we've found some challenges, I think, as neighborhood councils are transitioning from hybrid and, 3 years, people that served for 3 years in a hybrid model, in a virtual model, now moving into in-person. Life, has changed a lot for a lot of us in the last 3 years. A lot of things have come in and have made it difficult for us to maybe fit the neighborhood council service or continue the service on our boards now that we're going back to in person. So, there are going to be some seats that remain vacant after this election, after this Saturday for Region 10, but we have a few other regions coming forward. Elections are running through June. So come July, some boards, all boards will be seated in the month of July, but some boards will have some vacancies there. So there will be an opportunity for people who may have not run for an election because they just found out about it this morning, or may find out about it after this.
Right.
But, there's still an opportunity for people to participate. And if there isn't a seat on your neighborhood council, like Dina had mentioned, there's probably a seat on a committee. And if the committee doesn't exist, you can probably have a conversation with that board and ask them to start a committee on that topic that really interests you so that you can begin your service that way.
So then in that case, the board appoints the person to fill the vacancy.
Yes, depending on their bylaws, each neighborhood council has their own process to fill vacancies. But in all those cases, the board will go ahead and appoint.
So for those who show up as volunteers but who are not council members, they're doing whatever it needs to be done for whatever project that council is doing.
Yeah, so we have some committee members who are stakeholder committee members, and those are people who have not been appointed or elected by the community or by the board to be official board members. They can continue to serve. I think for our planning committee members, they're still required to take one training, but there's trainings that are available to all of committees in case they want to get involved a little bit further. But their commitment, if you're joining a committee, you are still expected, just like every other member of that committee, to attend, because if you don't attend, the committee may possibly not be able to meet that night. So there's still a very high responsibility on them too.
Dina, Vanessa said that they're really custom, that each neighborhood council is going to address what they think is important. They're going to create their own committees, their own bylaws. What kinds of things could I make it change? Like if I'm in a community right now and I'm irritated about X, Y, or Z, or I have this great vision for X, Y, and Z, what are the kinds of things, examples of, I think that, the story about a street sign that we can't really read, what other kinds of things could we impact? Because it sounds like they're pretty customizable.
Yeah. So for one of the things here in South LA that's important is economic development. So there are committees on economic development with most of our NCs in the South LA area. As you know, there's a lot of development. Crenshaw, the new metro train just came through, and the commercial businesses are looking for ways, to bring economic empowerment. So that's one of the areas that people can make an impact. Another committee, we look at our streets. So public works, there can be a public works committee where you can call in the leadership from public works to talk about what the plans are, what the needs are. When we see streets being resurfaced, when we see sidewalks being replaced, the neighborhood council members have an opportunity to chime in on that and anything else, whether it's street lighting, public safety, and anything you can think of.
So for someone that is, like you said, just finding out about this right this second, don't know anything about it, how would they even know if their neighborhood has a council, and how would they become part of it? Do you have to be invited, or you can just show up? Like, how does that work?
Show up.
Just show up.
And the way that you can find out what neighborhood council is in your area is by going onto our website, the 99ncs.com. It takes you straight to our website. All you have to do is put your address in, and you will be able to identify what your neighborhood council is. And then also we do have phone numbers.
Yeah, let's do that, because not everybody's good online. I'm not going to name any names, but I have a few friends that call me and say, I can't get to this thing. So how do you, what's your number, or the number to figure out that? Do neighborhood councils even have phone numbers?
Some do. I mean, I think before the pandemic, a lot of them had physical meeting locations, sometimes an office. They may have lost that and working towards it again. But they do. But you can find their contact information. I'll give you two things. Our official website, which is EmpowerLA.org, and our phone number, 213-978-1551. And if you visit our website, there's a tab for neighborhood councils, and you'll see all 99 listed on there. You can click on that one and find out who your board members are. Their email is linked on there in case you'd like to get in contact with them. But if you visit our website or the 99ncs.com website, then that will lead you to wherever it is that you need. You will always be able to contact someone from our department through those sites.
So the 213-978-1551, that is the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. Which is sort of the umbrella, the city umbrella that deals with all 99 neighborhood councils.
And we have some really friendly people on the other end, which we've been kind of lucky to grow that team, who are picking up and listening to what it is that you need, asking some questions and plugging you into the neighborhood empowerment advocate that maybe supports that area, or the neighborhood council if you provide them enough information directly to who you can contact.
Talking with Vanessa Serrano, Interim General Manager of the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, and Dina Andrews, who is a neighborhood empowerment advocate. Continuing our conversation, when we come forward, you know where you are, KBLA Talk 1580.
We may be LA's newest talk station, but when you're punching above your weight, it's not about whether you can throw a punch. Can you take a punch? We're unapologetically progressive, KBLA Talk 1580. And we don't black down.
15 million California Medi-Cal enrollees to have eligibility status reviewed starting this month. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by Lendistry, story courtesy of CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. Pay attention to your Medi-Cal notices in the mail. As of April 2023, California has 14 months to review the eligibility of 15 million Medi-Cal enrollees after suspending this process throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. An estimated 2 to 3 million Californians may leave the program during this unwinding period. It is critical that enrollees watch out for notifications from local Medi-Cal offices. If you receive a yellow envelope, that means contact information or pertinent information to keep your coverage is missing.
Thanks to our new sponsor, Lendistry. Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps small business owners access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit Lendistry, LENDISTRY.com/KBLA today. Thanks to our new sponsor, Lendistry. Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered in Los Angeles. Lendistry helps small business owners access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit Lendistry, LENDISTRY.com/KBLA today.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates U.S. Olympic gold medalist and Hall of Famer Jeanette Bolden Pickens, owner of the 27th Street Bakery. 27th Street Bakery sends a huge thank you to the community for all its support during the pandemic, serving the Los Angeles community with their signature sweet potato pie since 1956 and third-generation baker. The goal has never changed. Keep the business thriving for generations to come. Made with the freshest ingredients in each yam peeled by hand. 27th Street Bakery puts the home back in homemade with its signature vanilla added to all its amazing products, pies, cakes, cobblers, tea cakes, and the newest item, creamy sweet potato cheesecake. Call 323-233-3469. That's 323-233-3469. Have your order shipped by visiting 27thstreetbakery.com or stop by 2700 South Central Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 90001, Tuesdays through Saturdays, 8 to 4.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
I'm Dominique DiPrima here with Vanessa Serrano, who's the Interim General Manager of the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, and Dina Andrews, a neighborhood empowerment advocate, talking about the neighborhood councils and what are they and how do we get involved. I mean, this is really basic, but I think it's important.
There's 99 neighborhood councils out in the city of Los Angeles. There's chances that we all can be a part of one. So there's an opportunity to get involved right now during neighborhood council elections. Mm-hmm. You can visit NC's, 99ncs.com to get more information.
It's really important for us to become more active in the neighborhood council system if we want to see change. I think even from the federal government side of it, they have been encouraging people to get involved from the local level because that's really where it starts for us and basically everything that we need to happen in our communities and to see change. So we're just asking, that you consider getting involved. And also youth seats. We have youth seats available from 14 years old to 17 years old. So we encourage young people to become active in the community and make the change that you would like to see.
Neighborhood council is actually the neighborhood local version of city government. So it's letter N, C, S, 99ncs.com. 99ncs.com. So those elections are Saturday. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not running, you can vote. Mm-hmm. We all live somewhere. Mm-hmm. And pretty much everywhere in the city of LA at this point is covered by a neighborhood council.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if as more of them are created, it's just because they're
subdividing, for whatever reason. Some of them, are relatively larger than others. So if there's an opportunity, some may seek that. We haven't heard that any have. Yeah.
And so, what if anything is different with the neighborhood councils under the leadership of Mayor Karen Bass?
I think everybody is paying attention, just listening to what is coming. And I think part of our department is going to be making sure to communicate to them initiatives and things that come in. We heard about homelessness, and, the department has led a homelessness liaison, which were leaders among the neighborhood council system that were very interested, were already leading committees or wanted to begin leading committees on the topic. So we're bringing that back during the pandemic. A lot of our liaison opportunities kind of calmed down a little bit because priorities were just something else at that time, or trying to get the NCs back in running, and getting adjusted to this virtual setting. But bringing those liaisons back together to see what does their community need, and how can we work, how we can connect them with the mayor's office, other elected offices to see what services and opportunities are available.
Let's go to Thyrus calling us from South LA. Good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Dina.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking my call. Dominique, thank you for hosting these ladies. And ladies, thank you for making this appearance. My name is Cyrus Mason. I am the president of the Empowerment Congress North Neighborhood Council. We are celebrating our 20-year anniversary over the last 11 months. Yeah, it's been around a long time. You know, neighborhood councils were the brainchild of Mark Ridley Thomas.
Yes, this I do know.
Yes, and so here we are 20 years later, still standing strong. And I just wanted to call in and offer a bit of a personal testimonial, if you will.
Absolutely. Love that.
I was listening to President Barack Obama as he was exiting office, and one of the things that he said is, if you want to make a difference, start in your own backyard. Mm-hmm. And so eventually I was led to the neighborhood council system, had absolutely no clue there was a neighborhood council system, did not know what I was getting into, was in shock my first 3 months because it's an entirely different language that is spoken, and but decided to stick it out, and that was in 2016. Here I am in 2023. I started as an at-large representative. My neighborhood council is northeast of you all. It's the 10 freeway at the north, 10 freeway at the north, the 110 at the east, MLK at the south, and Western in some portions at the west, and then Arlington at some portions at the west. We have the largest employer in the city in our neighborhood council district.
Yes, indeed. Cyrus, hold that thought. I want to hear more of your testimony. Also, I got a question or two for you as someone on the ground who's involved right now. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Our Weekly Los Angeles is the largest audited black newspaper in the state of California with a distribution of over 50,000 copies weekly. Pick up a copy every Thursday to get the latest news on African American communities of LA. You can also keep up with what's going on in Los Angeles and surrounding cities by going to www.ourweekly.com. The Our Weekly website is updated daily with the current news about us and for us. For your advertising needs, Our Weekly offers economical advertising packages to fit your budget. Feel free to call Our Weekly Los Angeles at 323-905-1300 or visit the website at www.ourweekly.com. Our Weekly Los Angeles, reporting news that matters to you.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the Evanon, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Right, so we are talking neighborhood councils with Vanessa Serrano and Dina Andrews in studio live. Thyra's called from South LA. She is with the North Neighborhood Council, and she was outlining kind of the boundaries and her journey. And, my question for you, I'm sure you had some further thoughts too, which I'd love for you to share. But my question for you is, as a person coming in who didn't know anything about it, and I appreciate reminding us of the role of Mark Ridley Thomas, because I've been to the Empowerment Congress many times, and, this was a big initiative of his, which is now like part of our city tradition. How has that been for you? Do you feel like you're making a difference? Do you feel like your voice is more heard? I mean, what is the reward? Because it certainly is an investment of your time and energy.
Oh, absolutely. This has been one of the most rewarding experiences, one of the most unexpected experiences as well. I serve the city in many different ways now because I started in the neighborhood council. I preside over an alliance of neighborhood councils in South Los Angeles. I serve at the pleasure of the mayor on the commission for the Department of Cannabis Regulation as vice president. So it's one of those situations where when you're growing up and your parents always said, watch what you say and watch what you do because you never know who's watching you and where you're going to end up. This is that space. This is absolutely that space because when I was elevated to commission, I was like, how did this happen? And they were like, oh, you said something about something. And I'm like, oh, okay. One of those days. Got it. But in terms of it being rewarding, our neighborhood council has had Senior Fest, where we've brought, which is sort of like a resource fair just dedicated to senior citizens. And we handed out not gift bags, but food bags during the pandemic. We used our money for that since we were limited in the ways we could interact with the community. We are getting ready to do senior appreciation boxes again next month. Unique to my community because we're adjacent to USC is the proliferation of construction of co-living spaces that's causing a lot of displacement. We partnered with other community groups to influence a change in the community plan in South Los Angeles.
Wow. We're near the top of the hour, Thyris, but I love that testimonial. I think it gives people a bit of a window into the kinds of things that neighborhood councils are doing for their communities. Thank you, Thyris.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we just have a couple minutes here, and I want to give you the opportunity to say anything that you meant to say and we haven't gotten to yet. Vanessa Serrano, of course, Interim General Manager of the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, which houses these neighborhood councils, and Dina Andrews, Neighborhood Empowerment Advocate.
I think for me, what I'd say to close up is just go to a meeting. If you're not ready to join, because, life, there's a lot of things going on, join. That's how it started for me. A friend invited me, said, hey, let's go to our neighborhood council. And I did. And I'm here, for some reason I'm here, but I fell in love with the neighborhood council system and what it still can continue to do and continue to grow for our communities. So find out, visit our website, and find a way to get involved at any age. Find your neighbors, your family, your kids. There's a place for everyone here.
Yeah, the old adage, think globally, act locally, certainly plays out in the neighborhood councils. Dina, what do you want to leave us with?
I also want you to know that we give a lot of support to the neighborhood councils and their leadership. Don't be afraid to step into something that you may be unfamiliar with because you do have the support not only of the board but also of our office. And we do have a civic university geared towards youth, and Vanessa leads that charge. Vanessa, in closing, you want to just tell
we just have a couple seconds. Go ahead.
Seconds. It's a way, actually, we're passing that baton to others that are going to be leading all of our work with our youth. So anyone that's 14 to age 17 will be able to be a part of this to try to get involved in their own neighborhood council. So start early and get involved.
213-978-1551. That's their number if you want to follow up. 213-978-1551. Vanessa Serrano and Dina Andrews, thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Go us. Let's get empowered, LA. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information